Over the last week, I have, we talk about funny or sad. I think it's more sad than funny.
Yeah.
He has one ability I don't have.
Yeah.
He sleeps. He can sleep. This guy goes on a beach and he lays down on one of those, 6 ounce, they weigh 6 ounces and you can't lift it. Yeah. They're meant, he has an ability to fall asleep while on camera. He can lie down on one of those things, and in minutes, he's stone cold out.
How does he do it?
And he's got cameras because he's the president, so they have cameras on him.
Yeah.
And then they show him sleeping on the beach.
Yeah.
You'll never see me sleeping in front of camera.
How do we get you better at that?
Remember the MAGA comedians?
During the earliest years of their children's lives. Second, we are cutting unnecessary red tape. Red tape that forced providers to close, limited access to care, and made it harder for working families.
Pharmaceutical cost. So Trump RX has brought a lot of the prices of medications down. For me personally, Gonal F has been one of the main medicines that people use for egg retrievals, and that I could not find it anywhere on any other website or for cheaper.
Today, that comprehensive nature of whether you're staying home or you're in a faith-based provider or you have a child care center that you lovingly send your child to during the day as you work to provide for your family.
And now they helped all of us get to this point in our country's history.
It's tough now because the podcasters have become just kissers for the politicians, right? They don't challenge them. They just like, yeah, that's cool, right? This is my problem also with comedians. They became experts and podcasters. No offense, but Jesus Christ. You're just a comedian. And by the way, that's my defense of them. You're just a comedian.
Yeah. Comedian and actor Zach Galifianakis would torch them in an interview with Vulture.
You're the only person that gave him, I mean, I know that this in any way was just you doing your comedy, but you were so rude as that person. Right. And it's hilarious because I don't think anyone's talked to, certainly a sitting president, or even in this time, no one's talked that way.
Well, all
to
the
a
podcasters
president
that have had the president on now, they don't do their court gesture. They don't do it. They just, they suck up to him.
Yeah.
So the comedians that are podcasters that have had Trump on, they're not doing their job.
Yeah.
That's not the job of a comedian. You are to challenge.
And on Conan, where he went off on, for example, this monstrosity.
One of the beautiful things about you is that you freeball. Like, you get out and you do these huge events and you're just talking and you're making. We've highlighted you on the show many times when you did this Biden impression where he's walking around, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's funny. It's stand up. It's funny stuff. But it's like, you were making fun of Elon one time. You were doing an Elon impression. It's great. You have like comedic instincts, but it's like that kind of stuff was unheard of as a politician. Like, no one had done that. And I think
it's funny. You need at least the attitude of a comedian when you're doing this business.
Just a slobber fest from a man like Joe Rogan, who bills himself as an anti-establishment figure.
Yeah.
You were to make uncomfortable. You're not to sit there and fake laugh.
Yep.
That is not the job of the court jester.
Yeah.
Period. So there is a difference. Somebody yesterday was talking to me about that, about, political influence through comedy and all that stuff. I'm more interested in the comedy first.
And you know what? He's right. He would share more with Conan. Quote, I remember when I interviewed former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and I could tell she did not want to be there. And I totally get that. I get it. But before we had set that whole thing up, they wrote back, well, you can't bring up those emails. And I go, well, we don't have to do the interview. That's fine. We won't do it. When you tell powerful people, no, it's crazy, he said. They were like, okay, we'll do it. You can ask. Because it's not that important to me to do it the way they want to do it. This is a point that fellow comic Mark Maron would state many times, but in this case, via Vulture on YouTube.
They thought that their fight was really about free speech, which wasn't on a constitutional basis. So the entire premise of we're being denied our free speech was based in the active kind of movement of democracy to move forward.
Yeah. When you say anti-woke comics, either you can say specific names, or what do you think of, or who do you think of, or what are you imagining for people who maybe are less familiar with?
There's the wormy way to handle it, like Bill Maher, where you're like, hey, I'm as liberal as the next guy, but, the liberals have gone too far with this thing. People are getting, canceled or whatever. But those were corporate decisions based on, I think a misread of the public sentiment, in honoring, which it was good that they did, the kind of the kind of fragility of minority communities, based in ethnicity or gender, sexual gender stuff. And Rogan and Hinchcliffe and just a lot of these people just locked into this anti-woke thing. But now, the government, which is for all practical, good intents and purposes, is an authoritarian government, and we have a fairly dominant fascistic culture. Yeah. So they're using the same language, which is anti-woke, to dismantle all progressive institutions. And, whether you like it or not, or whether that's not what you signed up for, you tied yourself to that horse. This is the reality, is that, democracy was squashed because of, the policy now of using anti-woke to dismantle the liberal democratic state is something you didn't shut up about.
Yeah.
I don't think it's difficult to understand where Zach Galifianakis is